The Atlanta Falcons edge Jaylen Walker is starting to flash a little bit, and today we're going to talk about what this guy showed us against the Buffalo Bills. We'll also look at some of his snaps from the past couple of games as well. The guy's starting to flash, and he's still technically a part-time player. Only played in 31 plays against the Buffalo Bills, but the guy had multiple pressures, he had multiple winning reps, and he was very, very disruptive out there. And I want to talk about it. You know, there are plays where Walker ends up getting double-teamed like you guys see on this one, where he's going to initially go up against a right guard, against that guard, and he beats the guard, but of course on this one he gets double teamed. There's a lot of plays like this, right? And I think one of the important things to recognize with the young player is to see if they're actually winning their one-on-one opportunities. Are they actually beating the guys that they're kind of lined up across? How are they winning? You know, are they using their hands? Are they using their quickness? And with Walker, he does a lot of different things to be able to generate pressure. And we're going to talk about it. He's going to go up against the tight end on this one. He's going to obviously get chipped. And then he's going to end up in a one-on-one against the guard. And you're going to see Walker do a pretty nice job with the hands. And again, I think when you watch a guy and you can kind of analyze some of what he's doing with his hands, it allows you to see if a guy will be a good football player down the line. You know, if a guy's only trying to beat the player in front of him using his power, maybe it's a bull rush, maybe it's a power-based move, that guy's not going to have success. But with Walker, we're seeing different things that this guy is doing. And let's talk about it. So on this play, he's obviously going to lock in with the tight end first. The tight end's going to essentially let him go. Tight end has a route within this play. But Walker does a good job to recognize the play. All right, as soon as he realizes the quarterback has the ball, look at him jump outside. And then he gets into a one-on-one with the guard here. And he's going to actually make this guard miss. You know, you can put your hands into this guy, or you can just use a speed move or a skate jump, which is something that some NFL defensive linemen do. On this one here, he's going to do a pretty good job jumping to the outside. Some people call it a skate jump, ski jump. There's a couple different names for it. But essentially what you're doing is you're going to jump one way or the other. And on this one, you can see Walker generates pressure. But of course, going up against guys like Josh Allen, for example, the guy's able to just kind of run away from some of these plays. Here's a pretty nice play. You know, the tackle here, I think, does get out of his stance a little early. But I love the effort by Walker to get through that tackle. Now, some people think Dion Dawkins is a top 10 tackle in the NFL. I don't agree with that. I think he's a good tackle, but I think Spencer Brown's a lot better, to be honest, because I think this is a top 5 tackle right here. And I don't think Dion Dawkins is that anymore. Of course, that's my personal opinion. But Dawkins is still pretty good, right? I do think he's going to get out of his stance a little early. Maybe he just times it really well. But he does a great job being able to beat Walker to the landmark. Also, keep in mind, you know, Walker can't speed rush to the outside on this because they have this wide receiver standing on the line of scrimmage, ready to chip if Walker does take an outside angle. So Walker has to take a closer pass rush as he gets out of his stance. And of course, Dawkins times this well. Dawkins beats him to the landmark pretty quickly. So a speed rush at this point is not going to work. And Walker does a good job with the hezzy move. He's going to get the hands to the tackle. He's going to try to go to the inside. And I think if the quarterback is looking to the left here, I think Walker wins this rep. All right, Walker leverages pretty well to the inside, but Josh Allen does a great job seeing that pressure, and he's going to actually influence Walker back to the outside by taking a couple steps to the right here. And as soon as he does that, Walker has to obviously readjust his pass rush to the outside. And Walker does do a good job. He even ends up getting off the block right there. First guy that kind of gets close, generates that pressure. But of course, Josh Allen's very hard to bring down. He's going to end up picking up about 5 yards on 2nd and 8. But still, I really like what we're seeing from Walker. In my opinion, the most important part of being able to evaluate guys is to evaluate traits. How are guys moving? How are they using their hands? How are they recognizing that a quarterback might get out of there? Also, don't overlook the fact that the Falcons are rushing, utilizing a containment, right? They're essentially rush containing. So they're going to try to keep Josh Allen in the pocket. So you're not going to just freely pass rush to get after the quarterback. You got to contain this guy. Here's a really, really nice play by Walker. On this one here, he's going to end up being able to get to the quarterback, and this one's going to end up intercepted. 1st and 10, Jaylen Walker is helping the Atlanta Falcons essentially get off the field. On this one here, it's a pretty nice job to be able to kind of come underneath it, and he beats a good offensive tackle, right? I think Brown's a really, really good football player. But talk about impacting a game, man. This is such a phenomenal job. Starts with the speed rush. Obviously, it's not going to really work. Brown does a pretty good job getting out there, but I also think number 96 is supposed to go up for Walker to come underneath, and you can see this exactly what happens. Walker sheds the block, uses his hands, and even more so than that, look at him dip. past this offensive tackle right there to avoid the contact. That's a great job, and I love the fact that he attacks the arms, not just the quarterback. You attack the arms, it's going to impact this pass a little bit. Huge shout out to Walker to get up there and try to swat the football, impacts this pass, and you end up getting this interception. Really nice job, really flips the game for the Atlanta Falcons, at least from a momentum perspective. And again, these are some of the plays that Jaylen Walker is making. The guy's very disruptive, and he only played in 31 snaps. So don't overlook that he's technically not even like a full-time starter at this point. But he is doing a good job. He is getting after the quarterback. And I want to show you guys his final pass rush. Now on this one here, he's actually going to be lined up on the inside, and you're going to essentially get another edge player out here. So Walker's essentially going to be in a one-on-one with the guard. Now the slide is going to be to the left here, but Walker still ends up winning. This is 3rd and 10. It's a one-possession game. This is when you need that pressure, right? This is the moment that you got to be able to get to the quarterback. And you guys see this, man. Just a phenomenal job by a really good football player. A guy that has so much upside. Think about this play here. The guard's going to try to ghost Jaylen Walker. The guard here is going to put the right hand up right there. He's trying to bait Jaylen Walker. Walker does not fall for this. Just straight up hits him with an inside move. Swipes, swims. And you do get the tight end here to kind of help. But Walker does a great job just splitting the tight end as well as the guard. And he even gets held, but he still does a good job getting the hands up. 3rd and 10, you pressure the quarterback. He throws this a lot sooner than he wants. And this is what Jaylen Walker brings to the Atlanta Falcons. It's a relentless pass rusher, a guy with really good movement. And he is still a little raw, but he is developing, and we're seeing him flash a little bit. Against the run, he made multiple plays. And again, talk about traits. Talk about how you beat a guy. Now, before we move forward, I want to just take the next 60 seconds to talk to you guys about today's sponsor, ProfitX. This is America's #1 sports prediction market. ProfitX is peer-to-peer, so you'll be playing against real users as opposed to traditional sports books where you'll be playing against the house. This means that ProfitX is going to give you much better odds. If you guys want to make picks on the NFL, ProfitX has you covered. But if you're like me and you want to make picks on multiple other sports, ProfitX has you taken care of there as well. From the Ryder Cup to the Premier League, ProfitX has pretty much every major sport. And one of my favorite parts about this platform is that if the odds don't already exist that you want on any given player, you can basically just request it. ProfitX will make it happen. And if you use my link to go sign up right now, ProfitX is going to give you $200 in free money. For every dollar that you put into ProfitX, they will essentially match it. So make sure you guys go check out the link down in the comments below. Let's get right back into the content. Against the run, he made multiple plays. And again, talk about traits. Talk about how you beat a guy, that has to essentially block you, how you're able to make a miss, and how you're able to blow a play up. On this one here, you see him do a phenomenal job avoiding multiple blocks within this. So the wide receiver has an influence on Jaylen Walker here. He's going to put the hands up. Let's keep an eye on zero here. He's trying to influence Walker, right? He's trying to make Walker think that he's going to potentially down block him. And the idea is to make Walker potentially want to, spread out towards the right here and potentially widen the gap between there and wherever the gap ends up to the inside. And Walker does a phenomenal job not really falling for it. He has his eyes into the backfield, but he does have that right hand up in case he needs to take on the block. You see the pulling tight end come over here, and Walker just makes a miss, man. Talk about being able to jump, change direction, and just kind of make people miss, right? That's a phenomenal job right there. And this was 2nd and 1, and you essentially get the stop on this one. To me, just a really good job by Jaylen Walker to be able to get in the backfield and help get the opposing team into a 3rd down situation. On this one here, Walker's going to do a phenomenal job with the hands. Watch how he gets off the block, just straight up disrupts the tight end on this one. And obviously the play does not go to his side, right? He's not responsible either as inside run technically. But he does a great job here getting the hands to this tight end. Now do keep in mind, this is technically still a zone run. So let's say Walker jumps like way over here to the inside. And let's say the tight end sticks with Walker and blocks him out. The running back could easily take this and then bounces to the outside over here. Again, it's a zone run, so just kind of keep that in mind. But Walker does a really nice job kind of resetting that line of scrimmage. Gets his hands into that tight end. Again, love some of what we're seeing from a trait aspect from Jaylen Walker. And truth be told, he's done a lot of this stuff over the course of this season. He's had multiple plays that he's made, and I just want to show you guys some of these plays. I'll show you guys some of the run plays, and we'll look at some of the pass plays as well. But he's made a lot of these type of plays, right? Just where he has to process, recognize kind of what the concept is, and he blows it up. We've seen this multiple times now, where he is single-handedly just disrupting the entire play. And don't overlook, this guy has really good movement as an edge player. And one of the things that good defensive coaches do with guys that can move well is they essentially run these run stunts where Walker's going to jump the inside gap. He's going to cross the face of this tight end here. And then the linebacker's going to come in and fill that outside gap. And you do this mostly against light boxes. So if you don't have the numbers as a defense, one of the things you want to do is you want to try to disrupt these plays, right? You want to try jumping gaps. You want to try to get to the inside on certain concepts. And I know Walker doesn't technically make the play, but he's the guy that disrupts this entire play. The running back takes this to the left side, which is towards the side Walker's on. And when Walker jumps this gap and he kind of resets himself into that gap, as he does right there, look at the running back change direction and essentially run this to the right. And as the running back does that, you'll see like the safety comes downhill. You get a defensive lineman that kind of beats the double team there. Walker's impacting these plays, right? He's getting into the backfield. He's disruptive. He's crossing people. And the Atlanta Falcons coach is putting this guy in a really good spot to just be disruptive. And we're seeing Walker flashing. We're seeing this guy making plays. And I think the potential for a guy like Walker is absolutely through the roof. He is so quick. He is so fast. He shows good traits. I think it's just a matter of time till Jaylen Walker becomes like a full-time player. And once that happens, look out for this guy, man. I really, really do like some of what we're seeing from this guy. He has the traits. He's flashing it. On this one here, I mean, look at how quickly he beats this offensive lineman. This is the backup left tackle, but look at him just straight up swipe and get right past this guy. And it's easy, right? It's so easy for Walker. I mean, the athleticism, the freakiness that Jaylen Walker has, it's there. You see it on tape. He's going to start this to the inside. He's going to try to close that gap between him and that tackle. As soon as he gets close, look at him jump outside, swipe, beats this offensive tackle. Quarterback barely hits his drop, and Jaylen Walker's already bringing him down. That's a phenomenal rep right there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. We're definitely going to be covering the Atlanta Falcons on this channel. We will be covering Jaylen Walker. We'll look at some of the other guys as well. Really excited for this defensive line, man. It is super, super young. Multiple players up front can get after the quarterback. It's just a matter of time till these guys really develop into a solid defensive line unit that can consistently generate havoc. And I think we saw some of that against the Bills this past game. Let me know what you guys think, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.